Let's bring in News Nation's political editor, Chris Stirewalt. Two items. One, do I have the stakes right? And if so, what results would be considered decisive? Good to see you, brother. Let's start on the Biden Democrats side of the ball. What do you make of this protest deal?
Okay, so the magic numbers are 10 and 15. The organizers of the vote for none of the above, vote for uncommitted, say they want to get 10%. They say that's where they want to be, and that it would be reflective of the kind of margin that Democrats lost Michigan by in 2016. So Joe Biden won Michigan pretty substantially in 2020, but Hillary Clinton lost by about 10,000 votes. And what these anti-war and pro-Palestinian folks in Michigan, these Democrats, are saying is they want to show their strength and that they can prove that they can cost Biden the state in what promises to be a closer election than 2020. So that's 10%. The next number is 15%. If they can notch 15% of the vote, then they get a delegate. And if they get a delegate, that creates a little drama, creates a storyline, creates a narrative at the convention, and it adds to that. Now, anything beyond that, so 15% would be unfun for Joe Biden, right? That's not what he doesn't want to have none of the above basically get 15%. Anything beyond that, though, you start to have conversations or intensify conversations inside the Democratic Party about what are we going to do about this guy. And Biden is sort of lives week to week with his party. The crisis of confidence that followed the Hur report and other slips or gaffes in the past, he needs a show of strength, especially going into a very consequential week next week, which brings Super Tuesday and the State of the Union.
All right, Doctor. What about on the Trump side of the ball? Do you learn a lesson tonight about whether Nikki Haley is more than just a sigil, of the I hate Trump, which is just one slice of that party? Or could we learn tonight that he's got a race on his hands?
So I keep being amazed. I have twice been amazed. When we were together on Saturday for South Carolina, you saw how surprising it was, the huge turnout, right, in South Carolina. Because this race, for all intents and purposes, is over.
Right.
Donald Trump is chugging away on his way to the nomination. So why are all these people coming out to vote? What's the deal? Because normally what you see is there's a win bonus for the front runner. Their share of the vote goes up, 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 and turnout goes down, down, down. So Michigan is our first sort of pure test. It's not an early state. There isn't anybody else running. It's just the two of them, and it's not Nikki Haley's home state. So basically, I would say this. If Nikki Haley does something around 40% again, as she did in New Hampshire and as she did in South Carolina, this is a problem for Donald Trump, and it speaks to a problem of Donald Trump. But in a way, it speaks to a strength for Joe Biden, which is to say, as we saw in South Carolina, as we saw in New Hampshire, Michigan is an open or a semi-open primary. And a big gust, maybe 10% of that turnout in South Carolina, came from Democrats who crossed over for the sheer pleasure that they take in voting against Donald Trump. So that speaks to division in the Republican Party, yes, but it also speaks to that insane, intense, crazy intensity that Democrats have shown since 2016 in special elections and in midterms to vote, 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 vote.
But you got yin and yang, right? I mean, because you've got a baked-in vote for Donald Trump, the likes of which you and I haven't seen ever, if not in a very long time. All right, appreciate you as always. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.